What if I told you that the most important decision you're going to make today happens before anybody else in your house wakes up? I want to talk to you about mornings. Not the mornings you wish you had, the mornings that are actually possible. The one that does not require a perfect schedule or a massive life overhaul. Just a little earlier, just a little bit more intentional, and everything that follows is different because of it. I'm going to walk you through exactly what I do every morning, why I do it, and what each piece is for, and what it has done to my faith, my body, and my ability to actually show up for others, for people in my life. This is not a productivity hack. This is preparation. And preparation is to live the second half of your life on purpose, not on autopilot. I'm Kevin Davis. This is Second Half Strong. Let's get into it. Why mornings matter. The one window that nobody else has claimed. And here's something I've noticed about life after 50. The day gets filled up so fast. By the time most of us are awake and moving, the demands have already started. You got messaging, responsibilities, family needs, the noise of the world wanting your attention before you even had a chance to figure out what you want to give to it. But the morning, that window before anybody else wakes up, before the phone starts going, before the day shows up with its request, that is yours. That might be the only time all day that belongs entirely to you. And most of us hand it straight to our phones. And I want to talk to you about something you can do different with it. Mark 1, verse 35 says that Jesus, in the middle of an incredibly busy season of ministry, got up early in the morning while it was still dark, went to a quiet place, and prayed. He protected that time. He built the day around it. If Jesus needed that quiet, uninterrupted space with the Father before the day started, I do not think that we are exempt from neglecting it too. The morning is not just a practical window, it's a spiritual one. It's a place where you decide before anything else whose day this is going to belong. And we start with Scripture. We want to start with Scripture and then do something that most people skip. The very first thing I do is open my Bible. Not my phone, not the news, but my Bible. I've learned through experience that whatever goes in first shapes what follows. And if I start with the news, I carry anxiety into my prayer. If I start with social media, I carry comparison into my day. If I start with Scripture, I carry something different, a framework, a perspective, a reminder of actually what is true. But here's the piece that has made the biggest difference, and it is something that most people do not do. I text people what I learn. I don't just read my Bible, not just to check in. I text them what it meant to me, what I'm thinking about, what I'm going to carry into the day. The habit that changed the way I read the Bible. When you know you have to articulate something real to another person, you cannot just skim and feel good about finishing. You have to actually sit with it. You have to find the very thing that is alive for you today. And it has built something with people that I text as well too. A thread of faith running through the ordinary days. A shared life in the Word that does not require a class or a small group meeting. Just a phone and one person willing to receive a text. You do not need a formal accountability partner. You just need one person, a friend, a sibling, a spouse, someone from church. Send them a text tomorrow morning and tell them that what you read and what you have learned, and see how that one habit changes you over the next 60 days. Next, the 4 questions. The 4 questions. How to pray when you do not know where to start. After Scripture, I pray. And I want to share with you 4 questions that I bring to God every morning. Not just because prayer needs a formula, but because these 4 questions have a way of pulling me out of myself and pointing me to what actually matters. The first question is gratitude. I start by thanking God, not for my circumstances, but for Him, for who He is, for His faithfulness. That is a new single morning. That is new every single morning, whether I notice it or not. I have found that gratitude is the fastest antidote to that kind of inward curving anxiety that wants to hijack the morning. When I started acknowledging what I already have, what I've already been given, my posture for the rest of the prayer changes completely. The second question: what matters in the Lord's eyes today? Not what is on my list, not what feels urgent. What does God actually care about in this day? That question has stopped me more times than I can count, because my agenda and God's agenda are often not the same thing. And asking the question does not always give me a clear answer, but it opens me up to the possibility that the most important thing today may not be on my calendar. The third question is, who can I help? One person, one conversation, one moment of real presence for someone who needs it. The question keeps me from going through the day on autopilot, moving from task to task and missing the human being standing right in front of me. Matthew 25, the passage that has become the North Star for this whole channel, is full of ordinary acts of helping. I was hungry. I was thirsty. I was a stranger. The faithful servant is the one who noticed and responded. The question is how I practice that noticing before the day begins. And the fourth question is a surrender. Lord, let my thoughts, my words, my actions be yours today, not mine. That prayer does not make the day go perfectly. I still say things I shouldn't. I still make self-centered choices. But that prayer changes who is in the driver's seat when I start. And that matters more than I can fully explain. Move your body and feed it. After prayer, I exercise. Now, this does not have to be an elaborate exercise. It does not have to be long, 60 minutes, but it has to happen. After 50, movement is your maintenance. Your body is losing muscle mass, losing bone density, losing metabolic flexibility faster than it did when you were age 35. The research is clear that resistance training and consistent movement are among the most powerful things you can do to slow that process. And doing it in the morning before the day gets away from you is the most reliable way to make sure it actually happens. Then I eat breakfast, hit at least 20-30 grams of protein or more. Now, I eat eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, a protein shake if that's what the morning allows. Whatever it is, I hit that number. Because after 50, your body needs significantly more protein to maintain muscle than it did when you were younger. And most people, men and women both, are eating less than half of what their body actually needs. That number is not a suggestion, it's maintenance. So, Bible, prayer, exercise, protein. That is the sequence. That is your morning. Now, here is something I did not expect when I started protecting my mornings. Getting up a little earlier forced me to go to bed a little earlier. Now, that may seem obvious in hindsight, but the downstream effect really surprised me. When you know you have to be somewhere at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, somewhere that matters, somewhere you are committed to, you stop staying up until midnight watching things that really do not matter. You start protecting your sleep because you know that the morning depends on it. And when your sleep improves, everything improves. Your mood, your patience, your ability to handle the hard parts of the day without falling apart. Now, one good decision creates another good decision. The morning routine does not just change the morning. It creates a ripple effect that moves throughout your whole entire day. And when it moves through enough days in a row, it changes your life. It becomes a habit. The discipline of your morning is the discipline of your life. Now, I want to leave you with one practical challenge, not making this too hard. Tomorrow morning, set your alarm clock 30 minutes earlier than usual. Not an hour, just 30 minutes. Use this time for this right here. Read one chapter of Scripture. Then text one person what you learned from it. Then bring your 4 questions to God. Thank Him, ask Him what matters today in His eyes, ask who you can help, and ask that your thoughts and words and actions be His and not your own. That's it. You do not have to exercise yet. You do not have to get the protein figured out yet. Just start with 30 minutes and those 4 questions. Do that for 7 days and tell me what happens. I'd really be interested to know. Because what I believe and what is the second half of this channel is built on is that when we are hearing well done, good and faithful servant at the end of our life, that is our goal. And faithfulness does not happen at the end. It is built on one morning at a time. Now, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post every week on faith, family, fitness, and finance for men in their second half of life. I'm Kevin Davis. This is Second Half Strong Davis. God bless, build well, and remember that decline is a decision.